Well,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
hello.
Every Rush song.
Hello and welcome to Every Rush Song. That's what this show is all about. We'll soon analyze and discuss every Rush song. Tim,
Yes.
let's make sure you're okay. What song do we want to do today?
Well, it's really cold out here. And I think my face
Come on,
is
Tim.
frozen.
It's only like 11. Come on.
No, we've been doing a bunch of stuff tonight, and it's really beginning to feel like a marathon.
Oh,
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom,
Um,
boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Do the bass line. I love the bass line. The yeah. I don't recall the vocal part, but yes. Great
also,
song.
I found on the internet from 2112.net some transcripts from an interview with Neil Peart, and he says Neil Peart.
Oh,
Is that how you pronounce it? Is that his
no,
name?
you're pronouncing it right. I just wasn't sure who you were talking about.
So this is going to be a quote from the site. I think it sets up us for the song. Good intro from the man himself. And I quote, "In Marathon, for instance, which is about the triumph of time and a kind of message to myself, because I think life is too short for all the things that I want to do, there's a self admonition saying that life is long enough, but you can do a lot. Just don't burn yourself out too fast trying to do everything at once." And then he goes on to say, "Marathon is a song about individual goals and trying to achieve them. And it's also about the old Chinese proverb, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I think, first of all, to have survived is tremendously rewarding. I don't often stop and think about it, but when I do, I'm reminded again of the quote from the song Marathon. First, you've got to last. That was the motto of one of Napoleon's marshals." So I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
I guess
So
that's a good war tactic. Outlast the enemy.
I mean, to put it in just a big, one word summation, it's sort of basically like the carpe diem, seize the day type of situation, or don't try to do everything at once, but seize the day and go where the day takes you, maybe experience what you can, but don't try to do too much. I'm just gonna drink this.
That's trying to tell. I couldn't tell if you were asking us or telling.
Neither could I.
Okay. Good to know. Good
Yes.
to know. And I guess along that same from his blog post, from Neil Peart's blog, he had a post called Winter Latitudes. And from his post, he says, "We may contrast Jack London's credo with one espoused by Ernest Hemingway, who quoted a motto from a statue of one of Napoleon's generals, and it's in French. And then he says, first, one must last, or the shorter version, which I prefer, at first to last." That one was the inspiration for the song Marathon. Interesting.
It's not how fast you go. The force goes into the flow. If you pick up the beat, you can forget about the heat.
We'll just say the first time.
So those are words from the song.
Oh, I'm glad Jay did this homework.
I'm telling you, I didn't do jack on this one. But I love this song though. I love the song, period. I love the The music, I love the bass line with Geddy because Geddy doesn't do anything that's simple. The solo break sounds like classic Rush
Mm.
with some synth thrown in. And then, did you guys notice this? And I noticed this in this song and the very next, it faded out. It was a fade out. How often did Rush do a song where they did a fade out?
Red Bar Shadow.
Was that a fade out?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a fade out.
It kind of it seems like they do that where they'll end it, but then there's a fade out thing.
Yeah.
Like they could have ended it
Vital signs.
as a part at a certain point, but then they
They
I'm
faded
not a
out
big fan of
vital
the fade out.
signs. The
Not a big
weapon
grand design,
fade out. Yeah.
I'm not a
big
big
money.
fan of the fade out.
Tim, what do you think
Yes.
about? Do you
Well, you know,
do you even like Marathon?
I do love Marathon, and I've never done any research to the lyrics and stuff. And so, I mean, I agree with everything. I just always thought a marathon in any aspect, if it's what everybody thinks of a marathon, running, so everything you do to prepare yourself for that, and while you're in the middle of running the marathon, um, marathon of life, marathon of your sports career, your music career, your business career. I love the line, one moment's high and glory rolls on by like a streak of lightning. It flashes and fades in the summer sky. Right. You take that little moment to bask in the glory. Maybe you're the greatest marathon runner ever, but how long can you run marathons and be at the top? So one moment's high and the glory just rolls on by. You take a moment just to bask in that, but man, it's gone. It's flashing and fading away
Like lightning,
like lightning.
flashes and fades, summer sky, like a marathon of marathons. Like
A
how many?
Right.
I used to run half marathon, never ran a full marathon, and I didn't see the running connection a lot in this song. So it took me a while to figure out what it was, and I didn't really figure much out until I read those quotes, and then I kind of gave me different ideas, trying to look for the running aspect of it. It was more along the lines of what y'all said.
Well, say
I came up with.
again, I guess you never saw the Power Windows tour, or maybe the Hold Your Fire tour, with the video that they had going on. For crying out loud, they had a digitized man running.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But from running, there's not a lot that I was able to associate with the running marathon. Now, like what you said, the marathon of life, and I could it the lyrics go a lot better along with that than literal running, I guess. A literal marathon versus a figurative marathon.
Well, I mean, a marathon, what is a marathon? Marathon is not how fast you get there because you have to pace yourself. You can't just take off and because eventually you're going to run out of steam. You have to pace yourself and pick up at the right moment. So marathon, it's not the road, it's the ride.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But think about those lyrics while you're running a marathon. If you pick up the beat, meaning not necessarily trying to go faster, but picking up your stride a little bit more. Okay.
Right.
When you do that and you start concentrating on that, yeah, you may be running a marathon in the middle of the summer and the heat's bearing down on you, but you can forget about that heat.
That first line does. That first line to me does associate more with running. That it's not how fast you can go. The force goes.
Then what the hell have you been talking about this
Because
entire time?
There's other lyrics after that.
Are there?
Yes, there's
The
there's
version I
words.
have, it turns into an instrumental after that.
Does it? Oh, I'd
Well,
like to hear it.
No,
I would like to hear it.
So speaking of marathons, I mean, the whole marathon is about endurance.
Yes.
So
Yes.
first you need endurance. First you've got to last. From first to last, the peak is never passed. What does that mean to you? I know what it means to me.
What does it mean to
Okay.
you?
I don't know. I mean, it's you got to be prepared to go the long run. The peak is never passed. I mean, I'm not sure I understand that particular lyric. The peak is
I,
never passed.
I almost think he means that. I mean, kind of like what you said. It's not the road; it's the ride. That there's not an end to it, or like the end is the end. The peak
The
is
end is
never
the end.
passed.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you
All
don't
right.
you
Yeah.
don't. I think in this case, you don't want to finish. You don't want it to end, and so
Right.
you're just going as long as you can.
Most
What is
marathon
happening to
runners don't just run one marathon.
And that
They
first,
do
yeah,
one, and then they do another, and they do another, and they do another
and then you could look
until they
at
break their legs and they can't run anymore.
or wear out their knees, and you could
Right.
look at their career of marathons as a more figurative marathon than the individual literal marathons.
Right.
Because when I would run, that going back to that first line, it's not how fast you can go. I used to have a playlist for my runs, and
Yes.
the first 30 minutes was songs with a slower tempo, because even when I would start at one of they would split you up into corrals by your time, so that you could run with people that run at your pace. That way you're not trying to go around you don't have to try to pass a bunch of slow people, or in my case, you're not getting in the way of a bunch of fast people. So I would have to put slower tempo songs at the beginning of the mix, because I would want to run faster. I had this tendency to want to either keep up or pass the people I was running with. And if I did that, I would wear myself out to the end.
Oh
But
yeah.
if I kept the slower pace, but didn't worry about how fast I was going, I would have more energy for the end, so I could have a stronger finish.
What's
Right.
funny you
You
should
you
say that
you
because I was with that, like, I had a mixtape that I used to use, or I still use when I do when I go work out, or when I do a treadmill. I'm on the treadmill for however long, and I'll do, like, 30 minutes on the treadmill, so I'm gonna get 30-minute playlist. It starts off slow, it builds up, it gets going, and then I have a cool down period, so it slows down
Yeah.
again. So it's, I kinda follow it flows. It's
yeah, you wouldn't want to be your first song to be Judas Priest Free Will Burning.
right,
No,
You
right.
know,
or not
because
Metal Meltdown.
You're not gonna wanna hear
right, right.
Painkiller right off the bat.
No, because then you would die.
Right.
See, you would
Yeah,
not make the marathon. Now, if it was 100-yard dash, absolutely.
sure, for
You
sure, yeah.
you
Yeah.
crank up that screaming for vengeance and you just let it rip. No, you want to start like with um uh Rocky's running song, you
Dun
know.
dun 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 dun
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
dun
Yeah,
dun
a
dun dun
nice
dun dun.
Yeah, that's a
medium
little
pace,
slower.
a little, but there's some power in there
Yeah.
to keep
Yeah,
you energized, you know.
Yeah, those are
And then maybe your cool down song would be Duran Duran's Save a Prayer
or the chauffeur,
or
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 the
yeah,
or
chauffeur.
Ordinary
Yes.
World.
or,
Right.
Use
or
the
Arthur's
Duran
theme.
Duran song.
But I
No,
would not start a marathon with Duran Duran's Rio.
no.
No.
And you know what
That
else I wouldn't
that
start
may
with?
be in the fourth or fifth selection, maybe for Rio.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think Rio would have been too fast. I wouldn't have had Rio in. That's too fast.
What else would you not start it with, Shane?
Marathon. Because that song, even though I love the song, it's too fast, and I would want to
Right,
run with the song, and
right.
I would wear myself out and wouldn't be able to finish.
See, I would put
That's
marathon
funny.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
I think so.
somewhere in the middle. Because somewhere in the middle, you need a song that's going to pep you up a little bit
Yeah.
right.
Kind of like that 2/3 of the way
to get your
through.
focus back on what you're doing.
I think
Yeah,
if a runner knew where they usually were more likely to hit a wall, that would be a good place to put
I
absolutely.
the song.
would definitely not start with Rivendell.
You wanna you don't wanna start with Rivendell, no.
No.
That may be your cool down, your last song, or maybe it's a song for when you die, like
Now, Jay, you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned about if you pick up the beat, you can forget about the heat. And then Tim, you mentioned running in the summer.
yeah.
Well, my first half marathon was in August
Oh,
in
jeez.
Texas.
Oh, no.
And so even though I love the double meaning here about forget about the heat, because you've kind of got, like the heat where they're going to group you with the different speeds in the races, but you've also got like the heat from the temperature. Because to if you tried to pick up the pace and it was, I mean, even 75, depending on the humidity, but getting to be 80 degrees, then you're not going to forget about the heat because it's going to
No.
wipe you out. So this is one of the areas where the song doesn't align with literal running. You'd want to slow down the pace to accommodate for the extra heat.
I'm sorry. How many marathons did you run?
I said no marathons. But I don't know,
Ha-
maybe
How many
12,
half
12.
12?
Yeah.
12 in a what? 2, 3 year span?
Uh, yeah, it's about over 3 years.
Yeah.
And
What the
three of
hell do you
those,
know about running marathons? You have no
uh,
knowledge whatsoever. You're not an expert. You should just shut your mouth. You should shut it down because
Hey,
you're just
Tim,
talking nonsense. Yes,
how
Tim.
many marathons have you run?
0.
so how many 5Ks have you run?
0.
Uh,
So I'm an expert at not doing it.
Oh,
So there you go.
well, I would get your advice on that, but I've also not been doing it for quite a while and been pretty good at it.
good work, man. Good
Yeah,
work not doing it.
thanks. Then
Yeah,
another double line about more than just a dash, because it's not, because you think
Yeah.
about a dash as a short, fast run, and that's why people like Usain Bolt have completely different bodies than a marathoner because they can knock out that couple 100 meters or so, but he probably couldn't finish an endurance run like that.
yeah.
And it's also more than just a lucky shot in the dark in
Yeah,
the long run.
yeah. It's takes some persistence and focus, and it's not gonna happen by accident. You have to focus on it because he talks about that too, about something always fires the light that gets in your eyes.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I really didn't see how that associated with literal running, but as far as like an overall um, theme, like he had talked about, life is too short to do everything that he wanted to do. And so I think with that line, he's saying the one thing that you do want to do, or maybe a few things that you want to do, focus on that. I can't remember who it was that said something along the lines of, might have been Oprah, something along the lines of, you can do anything you want in life, but you can't do everything you want in life.
Right.
But that's kind of think this song
You
goes.
could spend your whole life wanting to do everything and end up doing nothing.
Yeah, you start trying to do so many different things that you don't
Yeah.
make any
You
progress in one of them. That I think that's the something always fires the light that gets in your eyes.
yeah.
That's a distraction that takes you away from, whatever that thing is, that race that you're trying to finish
Yeah.
or trying to not finish, like we talked about.
I'm telling you, Tim, I think, Shane here is a really smart guy. Smarty pants.
Well, I tell
Unfortunately,
you what,
he
yeah,
thinks that too, and
he's
you're all
completely
wrong.
ruined. He has completely ruined a great workout song for me.
All right. Well, what about the music part of it?
Good.
You like it? So I was listening to it with I listened to it with these and with my AirPods and with some other things. I wanted to get just a bunch of different sounds. One thing I've never noticed before until today is the guitar and bass lines go against each other. At the beginning, on the intro, the guitar is going up through the chords. It goes da da da, but the bass line goes down in the back. God, the bass line goes da da da. So they kind of go against each other. So listen for that next time.
Yeah.
It's a really cool effect.
I like once you get through the beginning intro, I love what Neil does on drums because any other drummer would be um dun, 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 da, dun, 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 da, dun, 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 da, dun, dun, dun. Just your basic 2 and 4 on the snare drum, steady quarter notes on bass drum with any other drummer would just be doing that. But Neil is so creative and just switches it all around and is doing nothing what anybody else would do.
On
And
top of that awesome bass line.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's just it's so great. Neil's drumming in this song is it's completely thinking outside of the box.
And Jay, you had mentioned something about it reminded you of some classic Rush.
Yeah. I like
How so?
there's the solo break where it goes into a guitar solo.
I had the same thing in my notes.
Yeah.
Right, where it's just, you're just hitting a note here, a note there, a note there,
If you take out
making it build up to get to the jam.
right, and yeah, exactly. And if you take out the synthesizer, it could be on any like early Rush, classic Rush song
Yeah.
album.
Oh.
I mean, the synthesizer adds to it, I guess, but I hear that and I was like, now that's Rush. There's Rush. Hi, Rush.
Well, the cool thing that they do in it is one of the things that I like about Tom Sawyer, where they have the kind of the theme of the song, the dun 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 dun, that part.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like, and I put 254 is the time in the song when it starts, but it's there's a bridge between the second chorus and the lead, and Alex is like holding the chords and the sustained notes where and Geddy and Neil are doing the ba da da ba da da ba ba, and then after a few measures, Alex starts playing that same thing with him, and then so they're all three doing the da 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 da.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Then it goes into the solo where Neil's trying to do that same beat. Yeah. And that's it. It's also something that they don't usually do because I think Geddy's probably just doing like keyboard notes and then the moog, is that what he calls the pedals? That's the moog, right? Where
Yeah.
just the bass sound. And not much going on with the bass or the keyboards, but Alex is doing the solo on top of Neil's badass, just insane drum lines.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That reminds me because Tom Sawyer does that same thing with the da 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 da. There's a part in the middle where the keyboard, where the guitar's doing it, and then it switches to a break where the bass is doing da da da,
Right.
and then the solo goes over that, and then the keyboard comes in playing that same da 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 da, and then they all do it together into the ba da da da.
You know, his mind is not for rent.
Oh man, it was pretty cool up until you did that.
Oh, we're doing marathon. I forgot.
Well,
So
it's a great song.
Yeah.
it is a great song.
It just is.
All right, a couple of other things with the production. At 18 seconds, when they kick in with after the intro and they kick in with the how does the bass line go again? I'm all in the there's a keyboard hit that kind of goes bang.
Yeah,
It kind of does a crescendo for like
yeah.
8 or 12 counts. That's a cool thing. But then they also do at 52 seconds where Geddy says more than just a dash. On dash, there's like a splash keyboard thing that kind of trickles or whatever between the speakers. That's pretty cool. And then at 224, more than just a spark, more than now I can't remember the lyrics, or Lucky Shot in the Dark.
Yeah.
A Shot in the Dark where they all go da 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 with Shot in the Dark.
Right.
Oh,
That's
yes. Yeah.
That's another cool thing. What else was there? The solo's awesome. There's also if you don't burn out too fast, there's also like a
Right. If you don't
Name that
put
goes
out
across.
too fast,
Another very
which
cool.
in concert, the lights would sort of flash and flicker sort of down a little bit.
And a couple more things. I don't always like Geddy's harmonies. I'm a big fan of harmonies. I don't like his harmonies, but he does some harmonies on this, and I'm put down at 454 and 520s on the Something Always Fires the Light That Gets in Your Eyes.
Right.
Harmonies there are just awesome. They're really cool.
Really? You don't
Yeah.
like Geddy's harmonies?
I don't always like his harmony. And you know what I don't like even more? I hate to say it. What?
I was just gonna say, you know what I don't like right now? You. I just don't like you
You know
right
what?
now.
I'm gonna hit stop recording as soon as I
No.
can find that button.
No.
I also
No.
don't like his O's when he does the O parts and songs.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa. I don't like that.
What's
But I
this
do
one?
like though. If you look-
Really? So why don't we go to a song where we've got some O's, and that would be the greatness of part 3 of Fear Witch Hunt.
Oh, I like those O's. Those are good.
Oh, really? But you don't like his O's, but you like that one.
I don't
And
like-
you like the one on. Oh, you know what?
What's another?
Shane is
We'll
out.
do-
You don't
Yeah,
have to like all those.
We'll do an episode on Geddy's O's. We've got the O's that we like.
That
And the
sounds like a
O's.
breakfast cereal.
I don't like
Geddy's
those.
O's.
Geddy's.
Geddy-Os.
It sounds like it also sounds like maybe a Chef Boyardee type of thing. Geddy's O's.
Like Geddy-Os.
Oh.
We're
I
having
think-
fun here. We're
I
all
think they-
friends.
I think
We're all
I think
friends.
they would like
We
to.
love each other.
I wonder if they would
We
laugh
do.
along with us.
Yeah, I think so.
They were until you started saying how much you don't like
Geddy-Os.
them.
I think they would like get spaghetti.
All I know is now I feel like I need a shirt that looks like Chef Boyardee can. It's Geddy's O's.
Yeah, it's Geddy's face. Yeah, wearing the hat.
And then like down in the description, Shane doesn't like these.
anyone who can Photoshop something cool like that for us,
Geddy's O's.
we'll definitely make it. Another cool production thing,
Geddy-Os.
the echo in his voice at the beginning of the song. It's a very delayed echo, and every line you can hear that it bounced back, repeating the line again. And finally, one thing about this era between like around Power Windows and Hold Your Fire Through That and Presto, I think those albums are the height of Geddy Lee's vocals. I mean, he was always a great singer, but at this point, it seemed like he could sing a lot prettier songs, not just awesome rockin' songs.
Right, because really none of these songs require the upper register belting it out.
Yeah,
It's
but
they're more melodically
And-
melodically pleasing,
yeah,
and the vocal requirements are more melodic. And
And speaking of Marathon, after how many decades of screaming out "Crash Supplication" and "Fly By Night" and all those high screaming notes, and then here this late in his career, he can still sing like this. And then on the like of streak of lightning that flashes and fades in the summer sky. To me, his vocals there, yes,
that is up. That's upper register right there.
high
Yeah.
and they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I think they're harmonized too, now that I think about it. They're just not O's.
Oh,
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 don't,
oh,
don't,
oh,
don't.
oh, the
Really?
right stuff.
Really? Is that
Wow. We have really brought this episode just
Oh,
wow?
we really
it was
have.
going
crashing
so well,
down.
and then you
This
bring,
marathon we had picked up the beat. We were
Mhm.
forgetting about the heat.
well, you weren't.
We weren't basking and thinking about the glory.
I was. Well,
And then, well,
pretty good. But believe it or not, I didn't cover all of the lyrics that I wanted to cover. But Tim,
do you have something else that you want
look,
to
Tim looks really cold. And you know what? It'll give me something to do on social media.
There
I
you go.
can't feel my legs. I cannot feel my legs.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I can't feel them either.
Tim,
I brought a buck
Hey,
knife
he's from
out
the
and I've been
Northeast.
stabbing myself repeatedly and I can't feel it.
I can't
Don't
feel
you
my
put that on me,
legs.
Ricky Bobby.
Poor Ricky Bobby.
Cut around the meat.
All right. Well, thank you again, our most pleasant of Rush fans, for joining us on yet another step through this marathon that we're running to analyze every Rush song. Can we last? I mean, it doesn't matter how fast we can go, right? We can take a few years as long as we last. Is that
It's
correct?
not a race.
Well, we
It's
know
not a
that the
race.
peak will never be passed.
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, we're not trying to analyze the songs the fastest. We're just trying to analyze them well in an entertaining manner.
We're not here to tell you the story first. We're here to tell you the story best.
Oh, that guy right
Bam.
there.
That
Yeah.
just happened.
Oh, yeah. Believe it. Yo. All right. Well, hey, every Rush song on every social media platform. Join the conversation. Tell us what you think. Tell us in all the ways that Tim is wrong. Tell us in all the ways that Jay is right and that Shane is right. But mostly in the ways that Tim's wrong, because he likes that. He likes it a lot.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
I was
Wow.
pointing up to the other person.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
It's just
Yeah.
all my fingers are frozen.
Okay.
That's the only one that works right now. I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope
'Cause
I
it's
remember
the
to cover that.
longest
Tim,
and the prettiest.
Tim, I'm doing this to try to warm you up. But how do we end this thing?
We end it like this. Thank you very much. Right.